Well, those of you who are back from the bowl game, welcome to this balmy weather we're having. And, you know, I think it really affected us the first half, especially the first 9 minutes. I think we had, you know, 9 or 10 turnovers in the first 9 minutes. And then we had 7 or 8 the rest of the game. And, you know, I was disappointed in that only because I thought it would show our maturity that we're having. I guess I still got to realize there's a lot of sophomores and freshmen playing, and we played like it the first half. We knew they were going to press us. We talked about the turnovers. They were so sloppy. I can't even understand it. And then we didn't shoot it as well, and I saw a couple guys' heads go down like we went through last year. And so that was a teaching moment. Halftime was another teaching moment because I let those guys teach each other, and thought they did a pretty good job. And then I thought we played better the second half. Cassius went from rags to riches in the second half. I thought Miles' defense was as good as it's been, and he finally got in there and rebounded like he's capable of rebounding. That was a funny team to play, guys. I'm going to tell you, it's a hard team. They shoot threes from everywhere. They shoot. They averaged 41 today. They shot 42, and you know, they missed a lot of them, but they made them in that stretch, and that's why the game was 1 or 2 point game. It's, you know, 7, 8 minutes left to go in the half, and so that part of it, we've got a lot of work to be done. But what was exciting to me is Cassius gets 13 assists. That's a career high for him. Miles gets 21 rebounds. That's a career high for him. Disappointed that Nick didn't miss a shot. I got nothing to get on him tomorrow, but thank God he did some average free throw shooting, so that'll give me a reason to work tomorrow. But he gets 10 rebounds, 21 points. I thought he played very well. 35 assists as a team. Did you say it's close to a record? Went off a school record, and you know, you can't ask for more than that. But now we don't have to question anymore. You know, I'm trying to figure out where my team is a little bit, just because of these last 3-4 games. And now we'll know, because this week, you know, things change a little bit, and we're going to be like that the rest of the time. So, looking forward to it. I'll answer any questions.
Tom, in this day and age, you see a lot of players thinking about pro careers and maybe discouraging this. You've got a bunch of kids with NBA potential that want to be out there when the game's up 50, that want to play. Last week someone asked Miles about it, and he said, the thought of not playing doesn't even come across my mind. Can you talk about the joy of coaching guys that love the game?
You know, love the college game right now. Want to be pros, but love the college game. And that's what I love about Miles the most. You know, still to this day, you know, I've been around this thing a lot of years, and when you're in the locker room or when you're listening to somebody else talk, there's always things that come up. You know, they never come up with Miles, and that is a great leader for the rest of our guys on how to handle things. And you know, I think it's been a joy. At the same time, you know, he needed to be motivated a little bit. You know, there's no reason he doesn't rebound, not maybe like this, but even a little bit more. He set his sights on that. His defense second half was as good as he's played since he's been here. You know, now Jared Jackson, you know, we got to get him going a little bit. Missed some free throws and didn't get enough shots, in my humble opinion. And some of that is him and some of it's us. So we got to continue to do that. And saying that he gets 2 rebounds, which is a low for him, and still gets 2 or 3 blocks. So, you know, we still got some tweaking to do, but yeah, it's fun to have guys around that appreciated the crowd. You know, one of the huddles late, they actually said something about the crowd. You know, can't ask for more than that.
Tom, do you think maybe the slow start could have been you guys kind of playing the Savannah State game instead of playing your own and going down low?
Yeah, which really bothered me, and I'll tell you why. Because I've spent a lot of hours talking to him about learning how to play the game and not the team, good or bad, meaning Savannah State or Duke. You know, you still can't play the jersey, you got to play the game. And, you know, I thought for the most part in this preseason we've done a pretty good job of that. I thought today, in that first 10 minutes, we didn't. You know, it also proved, you know, we scheduled it like we scheduled it. to have a one-day prep to see if we could, you know, simulate a little bit of an NCAA game and things like that, that I always try to do. And I'd say right now we didn't do a very good job of that, you know. So we got to do a better job as a staff, and hopefully that will turn out to doing a better job as players. But I think, you know, where I have seen some maturity is other years, the whole game would have gone like that. And the first 10, 12 minutes went like that. They regrouped a little bit. And then I thought really regrouped at halftime and did a nice job of bouncing back, pulling for one another, and trying to get different guys shots. And some of those huddles are so unique because of, you know, guys actually trying to help other guys. It's pretty cool.
Tom, Coach Broadnax mentioned when he was at Georgetown with John Thompson and they won the title, they hated these games because it's so easy to overlook Savannah State, and he thought that's probably why you guys struggled a little bit early, just because you're so good, and quite frankly, he pretty much said his team isn't. Is that reality?
It's a reality. To me, it's not a good reality. You know, the only reason I say that is, again, you know, I'm hoping that we respect the game enough. And that's what I'd like to see a little bit more. And but I think some guys learned a good lesson tonight. You know, I think they really honestly did, and we probably needed that too. So I appreciate his comments on that, and he's right. But he's been to the mountaintop, and he knows also what it takes. And if you remember back, John wasn't real happy if they didn't play well either. And so that was back when you could do more when you didn't play well. It was more fun for John than it is for me, but I think he's probably right on that.
Outside of that little stretch in the first half, we were fairly pleased with the three-point defense, with what they were doing going inside out.
Yeah, I was, you know. As I said, especially Miles, and Tom got a little better after he was shaky there for a while. Josh was pretty solid. McQuaid was pretty solid. Jared actually did a pretty good job having a guard really a guard out there half the time. So, and again, Nick, you know, Nick and Gavin guarded even when they put their small lineup in there. We said, oh, let's leave them in there. And so again, you know, Nick did what Nick's supposed to do now. I just want everybody to know, you know, and I said, but you better make sure you let the media know that Nick got tired. You know, I think Nick's not used to playing both ends. You know, last year he played one half of one end. You know, we didn't run as much, so when he got down in there, he went in the post and stood around and scored some points, and then, you know, kind of took a siesta after that, you know, and now he's playing both. He's sprinting up there. He's doing the things. He came out that one time when he didn't finish that layup and missed the free throw. I looked at him and he was huffing and puffing. I said, now you know why you play 20 minutes a game instead of 25? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, remember that when a lot of the people from the media ask you.
Tom, Pop will be going to #1 tomorrow after Villanova and Arizona State last night. Can that be a good thing for this team to kind of experience that pressure at this point of the year?
You know, anytime that, you know, for me right now, anytime that we can be #1 is great, because it still speaks more about the program. If the program can't handle that, these players, I mean, each group's different, but they came here because this program was ranked #1 before. We played in those big games before. That's why they came here. So unless they're in that stage of watch what you wish for, I think it is a good thing. I mean, who knows? It could last a game. I've been in that situation before. It could last a week. It could last for a long time. I don't know. But I think everybody would agree that there's 5 or 6 teams right now that are all maybe in that line of worthy of being that one. I thought yesterday I you know, watched Villanova play, and you know, the one thing I thought, especially over Christmas break, their depth hurt them a little bit. But I love his team. I really think they're really good, and that point guard is special. But you know, I didn't get to see the Arizona State. I think Arizona is a team that's better than their ranking too, because they got off to that goofy start. But you know, Kansas is getting a little better. I don't know, there's going to be a lot of teams beating a lot of teams, because a lot of these conferences right now have so much parity that there's going to be a lot more losses ahead, and how you handle those. That was my other thing that I was disappointed in. After the first time out, I said, okay, you know, we were average, and just left it at that. The second time out, we weren't playing very good, you know, and what I didn't like is I saw heads going down, and now we're not guarding as well, and we cannot do that, because there'll be a lot of adverse times in the next 2 months, and so we got to figure out that as a staff and as a team, and hopefully correct some of that again, because you know, everybody's a good front runner, including me. I'm not as good as they are at it, because I'm always finding something wrong, but we got to learn how to deal with those adverse times and respond quick.
Tom, Nick, going back to the end of the Oakland game, it's 35 of his last 37. I mean, that's hard to do if you're just standing alone 5 feet from the basket or whatever. Can you recall a player in a stretch like that in your time?
No, it has to be good coaching. It has to be, Fred. It has to be. You know, what he's doing is, you know, we have our times when he is in the game that we really go to him. And he's responding. What he's doing better now than he was doing earlier, he's kicking the ball out and either getting it back in or getting it at a different time, you know. So his ability to move the ball right now has been good. And now he's offensive rebounding a little bit better. You know, we're still, I mean, I guess we got 14 tonight, considering you shoot 63%. But I think we could do a better job in that area. Nick is doing a better job, but he's taking very few bad shots. And that adds to it. But no, I've never had anybody, you know, I guess back in the Judd days, Bobo Charles, didn't he set a record? But the difference with Bobo, he was a dunking in guy, you know. It was either a dunk or closer. And, you know, our guy's getting some shots, and he's getting, you know, the hook shots and that, but running the court better. He ran the court one time so well, you know. Nick has impressed me, and Nick is going to be my next Morris Peterson, you know, a little adversity and a little success. The only difference is he's got a long ways to go, and we're just going to keep pushing him, because his conditioning is getting better. I was serious when I said that he has to learn to play both ends of the court, because that does take up more energy, and guard different people. Like now, we're not afraid to switch with him on a 4, because we think he can get down and guard him. I mean, that's a big compliment to him now, and I think it's a big plus for his future and whether he can guard different kinds of people and all that. So, making some progress.
Your assists have been phenomenal the last couple of weeks, but you just got to make baskets. So I know there's a lot of ball left, but can you remember a team you had that shot this well?
You know, and I didn't think we shot as well today. I kept saying to DJ, how are we in the 60s? Because, you know, we missed, like Miles missed some wide open shots. Josh, I thought, missed some wide open shots. You know, I didn't think we shot it as good, but, you know, then we're getting, our fast break has been a lot better. I mean, we're starting to push the ball on a regular basis, and I think we're wearing some teams down with our depth, you know. Excuse me, that's what should happen, and that is one of the advantages we have, even if it's not always as potent a depth. We can get guys in, get guys at rest. I still think that's something we got to work on, is a little more structure in our substitution. I think DJ's done a good job of trying to manage that a little bit, and but I think we get a little better at that too. So. No, I haven't seen a team shoot it as well as we shot it lately in a while, and you know, maybe that's why we're one of the better teams in the country, to be honest with you. But it's our defense that's going to do it. And you defend and you rebound. That really helps your running game. And they did a couple of different things. They pressed after a rebound, and we worked on that for the one day. But that's where the one-day prep, and I told them after, if we run into somebody in a tournament sometime that does that, we did not handle that one-day prep. We went over it, we spent time on it. I didn't think we handled it well, but to their credit, we did a better job second half.
Coach, what does it mean, 4 straight games, over 100 points, first time in program history? Just what does it mean to the team to kind of set these records the way you guys have been?
You know, I'm a big fan of personal goals and team goals and program goals. I really am. I think kids need to be motivated for something all the time. I still remember Draymond a couple of years ago. I mean, I asked him, you know, is that getting the 70-some wins that important? And his answer was, hell yes. You know, it's good to do something where you can, as I always say, you know, leave your footprint in the sand. You know, it's good to do some things that, I was talking to Will about it before the game, and he said, you know, do we want to bring this up, or are you afraid? I said, no, you know, I've been afraid of a lot of things the last 10 years, and sometimes I think I hurt myself. No, I said that is going to be one of the goals, is to try to score that, just because I thought we could. I thought we were going to get enough opportunities. I didn't know if we'd stop them, but I thought we'd get enough, because they don't hold the ball very long. And I think anytime you can do something to leave your mark at a place, as long as it's not turnovers or opponents scoring, if it's assists, if it's, you know, scoring points, if it's rebounds, I think those are positive things that that they're going to remember someday when I'm gone, and they're bringing their grandkids back.
Tom, beginning of the game, the 9 veterans out on the court, I don't know if you noticed your team's reaction. They all went over to him, and
Yeah.
They were touched by it. That's one of those moments you talk about off the court as a coach?
That was a teary-eyed moment for me, because I said all the negative things that are said out there, and all the things of, you know, kids not understanding what the military has done for us, or the police, or whatever. You know, I mean, there's problems. We've already addressed those, but there's neat things too. And I gotta admit, I got a chance to meet them all as I walked out. And when you see a group like that, you give Mark Hollis, I mean, the guy is phenomenal. You know, you look at that, that's his program that he put together, and it's been, the referee said something to me about how cool it was, you know, and with the players, it was Tom saying something to Mike Garland, so I can't take any credit for that, but it was touching for me. I think it was really touching for them, but in a way, with a team like this, I think it was cool that it was touching to our players too.
You kind of mentioned about, you know, if Sam Miles gets 19 defensive boards, breaks Antonio's record. I mean, that's something I can imagine he was thinking at some point, you know, try and get some of those marks of those guys from Flint that have set here.
Well, Antonio was here for a couple days this week too, so maybe that had something to do with it. I told Antonio go rub up and down against Miles and see if he can get him a little of that toughness and the, you know, beastly manner. And Antonio talked to our team, let me see, I think it was Friday. And you know, those are the cool things about the guys that do come back, you know. You know, and Antonio, one of the things he said to them is, I love coming back. And then he said, and I need to come back because you guys motivate me, you know. Well, I know if you're a Flintstone, and Miles is, I'm sure that'll mean the world to him. And I'm sure the first phone call he'll get will be from Antonio. And it wouldn't shock me, since he was in last week too, that the second one would be from Gregory. And I can't tell you that means more to me than 80% of our wins. It's just something special we have that I think is important, and I think it is special. I don't think everybody has it.
One more?
Matt McQuaid is 14 of 25 on threes in his last 5 games. Obviously, he's been getting a lot of really good looks, but have you noticed anything different in his demeanor, the way he's playing, or is there anything you can do as a coach?
Yeah, him and Miles have been working together in practice on all these shooting drills and that, and it's really been funny because it's frickin' frack, and yet I watch those two guys challenging each other every day, you know, but in such a positive manner. I mean, if one of them misses a couple, they make sure that the pass was even better so that he makes the next one. And And I said, you two guys should shoot together for the rest of your lives, you know, and I think it's helping both of them. Miles has missed a couple shots that I think are right there, and so like he vowed at halftime 2 games ago that he was going to change his rebounding. I said, you know, Miles, you're probably capable of doing a lot of things that you want to do if that's what you really want to do and not what I want you to do. And so he said after, you know, I got to get in that gym more, shoot more. You know, this will be a good week because we get some time, have a couple two-a-days. They get some time, nobody else is around, come in at night and shoot. I think we can make some progress this week, and I think that's very important for us. So it's going to change, guys. You know, I mean, this has been a strange way of doing it. We haven't done it this way very often, where, you know, we played all those big games, and then we played, since Oakland, we played, you know, 4 games that we should have won. I'm not sure we should have won by the amount we won by, but it gives you guys a little, you know, feeling that maybe we're better than we are. It probably gives them a little feeling that we're better than they are. And I'll be very honest with you, it sometimes affects me a little bit. And I've asked a couple of you, you know, where do you think we are? You know, the one answer that I keep getting from my staff is we're still got a bunch of good guys that still have goals, and we're trying to make each game so that they have goals within the game. And, you know, some of them are on what we hold opponents to, and some of them are on a rebound margin, and some of them are on our field goal percentage defense and offense, and 3-point defense and offense. So we're going to keep working on it. We're probably, like the first 10 minutes, we weren't as bad as we were playing, and sometimes we're not as good as we've been playing, but this team has been pretty consistent on both ends of the court. And, you know, you can say, well, we beat some teams we should have beat. Well, not that long ago, we beat some teams that maybe some people didn't think we were going to beat either. And so I think we've had a pretty good cross-reference here of what we got. It's just a little different because it's 4 in a row. And all of a sudden now that's going to change a little bit. But the good part is I think we got some confidence, as long as we're not cocky. You know, if we're confident in our shooting like McQuaid, that's great. If we're cocky about it, we'll go right down the tubes pretty quick. So the next couple games are, you know, going to be a lot different than these last 4, but they aren't going to be any different than 6 or 7 we played earlier in the year either. Anything else? Well, listen, you guys have a good New Year. Behave yourself tonight, Fred. Not to call anybody out, but want you out on the town or anything. And seriously, I hope you do what I told my team to do. Is tomorrow I want 1 resolution from each member of my team, and I want 1 team resolution. You know, I'm going to try to do the same thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll go on the wild side. Maybe mine will be nice to the media or something. I don't know what it'll be, but I hope that you guys, all your dreams come true this year, and we're going to try to make ours come true. So thanks.